It feels like every time I turn around, there's a new company trying to change how we search for information.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how much things have changed, even in just the past couple of years.
Right.
Well, today we're diving into one of the companies that's making big moves,
All right.
Perplexity AI. They just launched a brand new Mac app, and they're not shying away from going up against some of the biggest names in the game, like ChatGPT and Poe.
Definitely a bold move.
We've got some excerpts from a recent article about this launch that I think you'll find pretty interesting,
Cool.
especially if you're a Mac user. I mean, you guys are usually on the cutting edge of new tech, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's fair to say.
But even if you're not a Mac person,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot here for anyone who's curious about what the future of searching online might look like.
For sure, the whole AI thing is changing so rapidly.
Exactly.
What's Perplexity doing that's so different?
Well, for starters, they're really leaning into the Mac experience with this app. I mean, it's got all these features, like keyboard shortcuts, a voice mode so you can actually talk to it,
Whoa.
file uploads. You can literally feed it whole documents, and it'll summarize them for you.
That's wild.
And even voice dictation, which is a big deal for accessibility.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it seems like they're trying to cover all the bases in terms of how people like to use their computers.
It makes sense, right? If they want to really compete with the big players, they need to appeal to a wide range of users.
And I think it speaks to this bigger trend of AI becoming more user-friendly in general.
Totally. I mean, it used to be that you needed to be some kind of coding whiz to even understand what AI was.
Right. It was a super niche thing.
Now it's like AI is everywhere, and companies are trying to make it as easy as possible for everyday people to use it.
So this Perplexity app is like a perfect example of that.
Absolutely. It's like they're saying, hey, you don't need to be a tech expert to harness the power of AI.
And I think that's super exciting.
Yeah.
Because it opens up so many possibilities for how we interact with information.
Right. Imagine a world where instead of typing keywords into a search bar, we can just talk to our computers or upload a whole textbook and get a personalized summary.
It's like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it's happening right now.
It's wild.
So how does this whole thing work with Perplexity? Is it free?
Well, they have 2 tiers of service. So theirs is a free version, which is awesome.
Cool.
But they also have a pro version, which costs $20 a month.
Okay.
Or you can pay $200 for the whole year.
So what do you get with the pro version?
So they're calling it more in-depth search results, which is a little vague, but I think it's more than just getting more links or something. It's like having a research assistant built into the app.
Oh, wow.
It can summarize key points from different sources, identify different expert opinions on a topic,
Oh, wow.
even suggest further reading.
That's really cool.
If you're doing serious research or writing a paper or something, this could save you a ton of time.
So it's kind of like the classic freemium model, right?
Exactly.
You get the basic features for free, and if you want the full power, you upgrade.
Like Spotify or a lot of those streaming services.
A smart move on their part because it lets them reach a wider audience.
Right. You get the casual users who are just curious about AI.
And then the power users who are willing to pay for the extra features.
Exactly. It'll be interesting to see how their business model develops over time. Will they stick with just subscriptions?
Yeah.
Or will they maybe start offering other services like data insights or partnerships with other companies?
It definitely seems like they have big ambitions.
Oh, for sure.
The article mentioned they're aiming to raise like $500 million in funding,
Wow.
which could potentially double their valuation to something like $8 billion.
Yeah, they're not messing around.
But it's not all sunshine and roses. They've also run into some controversy lately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently the New York Times wasn't too happy with how Perplexity was using their content, and they hit them with a cease and desist letter
Oh, wow.
over claims of scraping and plagiarism.
That's a tough one.
It's a really complex issue for AI companies, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, where do you draw the line between being inspired by something and straight up copying it?
Right.
And how do you use all this data to train these AI models without violating anyone's copyright or intellectual property rights?
It's a whole legal and ethical minefield that Perplexity and all these other AI companies are going to have to figure out.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious, after hearing all this, would you consider switching over to Perplexity as your main search engine?
I think it has potential for sure.
Like, would you ditch Google or whatever you use now?
I mean, the way we search for information is changing so rapidly. Who knows what the future holds, right?
Right.
But AI-powered tools like Perplexity are giving us a glimpse of what's possible.
Yeah.
Like, imagine instead of scrolling through endless pages of links, You could have an actual conversation with an AI assistant
Yeah,
that understands what you're looking for and gives you personalized, insightful answers.
that's pretty powerful.
It is right.
Okay, so let's recap what we've learned about Perplexity.
Okay.
They've launched this ambitious new Mac app with a ton of cool features.
Yeah.
They're using this freemium business model to try and attract both casual and power users,
Mm-hmm.
and they're facing some serious challenges in terms of competition and these ethical questions about data usage.
Just a lot to juggle.
But I think the biggest takeaway for our listeners is to pay attention to how this whole field of AI is developing.
Yeah, it's moving so fast.
And it's going to have a huge impact on how we interact with information online.
Absolutely.
So my suggestion would be to give Perplexity a try. See how it compares to your current search habits.
Yeah, play around with it a bit.
You might just discover your new favorite way to explore the digital world.
You never know.
Thanks for joining us for another Deep Dives, and we'll see you next time.
See ya, yeah.